Hi friends, it's Becky, and it is time for me to open up my July 2025 Sam's Bead Box. This is a monthly bead subscription that is full of Czech glass and gemstones and sometimes some really fun findings. They usually have some very unique kind of color combinations on some of the beads and some really interesting shapes. It is one of my favorite bead boxes ever to get, and I will have a link in the description below to a page where you can see where to sign up for Sam's Bead Box, but also box extras. If they have any leftovers from any of the beads in this box, you can pick some up from there. And they'll also have some design elements, which will include just extra things that you can add on to make more things with this box. So while I am opening it up and showing off the beads, I'm also going to be organizing it into my 15 grit organizer. I love using this for my bead subscriptions because that way I can see all of the beads together all at once when I'm designing, and it makes it easy to get them stacked up on a shelf. If I leave it in the box that it comes in, I will never use these beads, so I like to get them organized while I'm doing that. All right, let's take a look at this. Oof. This shouldn't be a spoiler because I usually wait until after the official unboxing to post mine. So let's get this opened. We've got a description on this end, some important dates down here, and then the back side of this has our item list. This is a sticker, so I could stick it onto my bead box, but usually I'll just cut the side and set it inside the lid so that I can reuse this for other bead boxes after I've used up all of them. All right, so it is very well packaged. Let's get this in here. I love that it's recyclable packaging. That makes me happy. All right, so Shoreline Stroll is our theme. Let's read about it real quick. I love searching a shoreline for treasure. I walk slowly, scanning the sand for anything that catches the sunlight. Sea glass is a favorite of mine to hunt for. What was once trash has been transformed by the sea, smoothed and frosted from years of tumbling. On a recent beach walk, I came back to the car with a pocket of small finds, bits of driftwood, colorful stones, a few tiny pieces of sea glass, and lots of shiny shells, likely cracked open by seagulls. I'm drawn to the wonderful iridescence of a shell's nacre, almost too pretty to feel natural. Think of this box like a beach treasure hunt. Inside you'll find classic glass stones, matte blues, greens, and yellows. We source the frosted freeform pendants, rice barrels and tubes from a manufacturer who transforms recycled glass into imitation sea glass. I love that. That is so cool. Along with these 3 shell selections, we chose Czech shapes to fill out our beach scenes, turtles, leaves for seaweed, and several 2-hole beads for flowing multi-strand beachwear. I love that too. I love 2-hole beads. Smooth fancy jasper coins and sakura agate tubes feel like polished beach stones. We can't wait to see what you design with all of these found treasures. How exciting! That's so much fun. Oh, okay. So we've got July 18th. That is the day that this will go live. And then you guys will be able to see all of that. So I'm going to open this up. Oh, these are so cool. Look at that. How cool is that? I'm going to save these for later. Big 2-hole beads. Ooh. Ooh. All right, now my bagged items, I'm going to set them aside for now, and we're going to go through the strands first. We've also got some 11 seed beads. Are these 11s or 8s? I think these are 8s, actually. Which one? I feel like they're 8s, but they might not be. Yep, they are. They're 8-0s. Okay. Shoreline Stroll seed bead mix. There's usually also a 11 seed bead mix that might go with this over there in the additional bead components, or you can get a larger tube of these. I actually have a larger tube here. Again, it is the extras are a separate purchase for all of those, but oh, look at all of these strands of beads. It's so colorful, but also beachy. What a fantastic balance that is. For all of these. But yeah, let's move some of these guys over here to the side while we work on this. Fun. How fun is this? All right. So the first of my strands that we're going to look at are the Czech Starburst flower. That's this one here. It is teal with a gold wash. These are 12.5 millimeters, and this is an 8-piece strand. Let me get my... I need to open this strand up and get it put in the organizer. Now, because there are a lot of different types of beads in this bead box, we're probably going to be doing some roommate situations, which is totally fine, because then they can just kind of share that space together. All right, next we've got some Czech glass English cut matte teal, 3.5 millimeter. It's these guys right here. Isn't that a beautiful color? This is a 50-piece strand. I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. Right there in that organizer. All right, next we've got some 2-hole flat back coin beads in matte teal. These are 18 millimeters. They are 5 millimeters thick, and there are 5 of them. They are like a soft cabochon almost. But they've got the 2 holes in them. These are so cool. All right, I'm going to actually put these in the same segment that I put those 3.5 millimeter English cut beads, because they are the same color. And because they are the same color, there's actually some extra seed beads on this strand that are also matte finish. I'm going to pull this up. Oh, these aren't even seed beads, are they? They are round beads. How cool is that? Bonus beads. Pop those in there with them. So it's the same color as these smaller ones, but we'll be able to see both of them in this container when I'm doing my designing. All right. Next, we've got some Amazonite smooth rounds. That's this one here. Love Amazonite. It is one of my favorite gemstones ever. It makes me so happy. I think I want to paint my kitchen cabinets Amazonite. I think that would just make my life better if my kitchen cabinets were the same color as this strand of beads. All right, that is in there too. And then we've got some Czech glass Brio drops. There we go. This is Sea Glass Mix, Sapphire, Peridot, and Amber. These are 5 by 7 millimeters, and this is a 40-piece strand. Next we've got some Czech glass oval matte rippling waters mix. This is 9 by 12 millimeters. It is a 12-piece strand. I love matte finish glass beads. It is just fantastic, and I love these. So cool. All right, put that one back here. I love how colorful they've made the beachy theme box. Sometimes beachy themes are just aqua, or sometimes they'll be just maybe like rosy colors and sand colors, but like they've included so many fun colors in this. That was really cool. All right, then we've got the Drook Rounds Matte Sapphire Amber Mix. These are 6mm drooks, and this is a 30-piece strand. Looks like we've got some dark blue, some light blue, some semi-opaque, and the amber colors. Let's get them in there. Two more bead mixes. All right, then we've got some Czech, the Sakura agate. That's what's next, actually. So I just looked at that one. All right, these are 8 by 12 millimeters. This is a 6.5-inch strand. Look at that. Aren't these pretty? Smooth tubes. I'm not sure if this will fit in here on its own. Nope, it doesn't bend that way, so I am going to need to remove this pink strand from there. And I think once I get this off of here, I'm going to put these back on this plate so you can see the true color. Because often when you have a colored thread like this, it affects the way that you perceive the color of those beads. So you can see it's not quite as pink as it seemed with that, but we do have some very light pink ones, and then we've got some others that are more amber colored, like those two. Some that are got the cloudy bits in them, some that are much more clear. This is a really fun mix of beads. And there's some extra 80 seed beads in here. Those clear amber color seed beads to separate those. Oh. All right, let's get this in screen so you can see me putting them away. There just wasn't that much room here, but we've got most of those out of the way now. So let's take a look at the next one. We've got long bicones. That's these guys right here. They are peridot colored, and this is the cultured sea glass. This is 8 by 16 millimeters, and this is an 11-piece strand. We've got some extra, these look like drooks. They're round beads in between them. So if this is the cultured sea glass, I think that's what they meant by the sea glass that was man-made using recycled glass, I believe. So let's get these guys in here. Love those. And then Czech glass mint leaves. This is matte olive with a gold wash. They are 10 by 8 millimeters in size, and this is a 15-piece strand. And these were the nod to seaweed. It was included in there. And we've got some Czech glass spacer rondelles. They're peridot with ivory silk. Because, again, we do have a lot of these, I'm going to go ahead and roommate these with my mint leaves. These ones are 2 by 4 millimeters, and there's 40 of them on this strand. See how they fit really easily in this section with that. All right, next we've got some 2-hole matte amber and peridot 6 millimeter Czech glass beads. These are tile beads. I've got the 2-hole tiles, square beads with holes that run parallel to each other, or to 2 of the sides, and we're going to put these guys right in here, right up at the front. And then we've got the Czech glass table cut carved square with the brown topaz Picasso. These are 10 millimeters in size, and I think I want to put my square beads with my square beads. So I'm going to stick them in here with these other square beads, even though they're not 2-hole beads. I'll put a couple on here to bring them up close, so you can see that the bits. And that is just a single hole right in the center of the bead. Right there. Okay, and then the last strand. These are our fancy jasper coins. That's the name of the jasper, is fancy jasper. They're not just fancy coins. But we've also got some 3.2 millimeter rounds that are also fancy jasper in between all of these. So it's a 2-for-1. But this is fantastic because you've got all of this different variation in color between each of these. And these are so shiny and perfect. These gemstone coin beads. Little guys in there. I love that there are all of these little beads that we can use and add to what we're making. It's really, really fun. Not just to have big beads, but to have little beads too. All right, let's look at our bagged selections. Really, really cool. All right, but first we've got our Czech glass turtles. This is Pacific Blue Silk. It's a 2-piece set. I love turtles. I love turtles. Look at these guys. I'm going to turn this one over so you can see that they are the same on both sides. They've got a hole going right from the head down to their tail. I'm going to set these guys right in here, my little special guys, right in the middle of the front. Then we've got some Marquise oval white shell beads. These are 7 by 20 millimeters. This is a 10-piece strand. They are natural tan color beads. White shell. How pretty are these? Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. we're getting pretty full. We're gonna have to start roommating some of these guys. I want to see if these conch shells or conch shells, they're slices. They are 2 of these pendants. I want to see if they fit in there very well, and they probably will. Oh, they have some heft to them. They've got some weight, but let's get up here. I love this because they are so, the cross sections make them so cool. Looking for a hole drilled in the side. Yep, that's our top to bottom. Looks like we've got a hole right here on the side there. And this one also has a hole right there. So that is going to be fun to get strung. There would probably be some wire working ways that you might incorporate these as well. But I kind of love that there's 2 of them. This is one of the most unique like pendant focal pieces that I've seen in a while. Here, they should both fit in here, and they do. Right in there. I just lowered one of the sections in between there so that I could fit them in. So now I need to figure out where I'm putting everybody else. I do like to put like my focally beads and some of the metals here in the front. So we're going to have some of these shells join my turtles right up there. And this is the scallop shell charms. They're 32 millimeters in size, and nautilus links. So here are our shell charms, front and back, and our nautilus links, front and back. And these are made in Greece and are lead-free. There we go. So we've got those guys. That is the antique brass color. All right, then we've got some long rice barrel beads. They are aqua cultured sea glass. Oh, how cool is this? Recycled glass, guys. 8 by 30 millimeters, and this is a 5-piece set. Oh, friends, I'm having ideas of how I can use these. I love doing that thing where you take beading wire and you go through it twice, and then on the loop that goes along the outside, you can have like some drops. And you know what? We've got drops. We absolutely have drops that could go along the outsides of it. So I'm going to figure out how I can incorporate those. But in the meantime, these are very long, but I'm going to go ahead and stick them in here with these ovals. They're about the same color, but they're different shapes and sizes. So I should be able to see both at the same time while I'm looking through here. All right, and now we've got our freeform pendant. They are green and light lemon cultured sea glass. More of these. Oh, beautiful. How pretty are these? Let's get them up close. All right. Let's stick that one right in there with these long bicones. That one doesn't fit there. How about if we put it in here with the drops? I think that's a good idea. This box is getting very full. This is not a problem that needs fixing. just letting you know, Sam and Rachel, do not fix that problem. I am not complaining. All right, and then we've got some tube barrel, aqua, and honey. And these are also more cultured sea glass. So they are 5 by 9 millimeters. This is a 12.5 gram bag. So there's about 22 pieces. Let me see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of the honey colored ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13 of the aqua ones. Oop. And I may be miscounting. It's entirely possible. We're going to go ahead and put those in there with the Czech glass ones. Again, because we're just trying to get everybody a little home to live in. And then we've got some Seester charms. Not Seester like me and my sister, but Seester. White shell gold. In fact, maybe I'll make my Seester some Seester earrings. I'm gonna do it. She will love it. Oh boy. Aren't these beautiful though? I'm gonna turn a couple of them over so you can see the back and see that they are actually shell. And I'm gonna pull 2 of these out because I 100% am gonna make myself some Seester earrings with these. And let me pull out some of the other beads from here and figure out which ones I want to use. And then I'm gonna go grab some wire and we're just gonna make some quick earrings, my friends. But before I go, I just want you to have, or before you go, because you might not stick around for that, or you might, you're welcome to. This is the Sam's Bead Box for July 2025. I love it. And again, there were also these 8-0 seed beads that came with it, and I've got an extra tube that I got to go with it as well. Check out Sam's Bead Shop. I will put that link in the description below. And if you're gonna stick around and watch me make some earrings, then let's dig in and see what earrings I want to use with these. Maybe we will use some of these. And ooh, or some of these honey colored beads with the blue. Where's there it is. Let's get one of each of these out. And I need somebody in between these. So how about, where you going, buddy? One of these Amazonite rounds right there. Okay. So let's do a little earring magic there. Yeah, there we go. That's going to be fun. My sister loves blue and yellow together, so this is definitely something that I am making for her. Should we add maybe some of these light yellow 8-0 seed beads in here? Because we've got some of these more ambery colors, but the seed bead mix brings in these like bright light yellows as well. I'm just going to pop these in between each of these elements. Just those yellow guys. Ooh, yes, I'm going to do several segments. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do another one that's just these guys. I'm having fun with this, actually. All right. All right, let me grab some wire. I'm going to grab some 22 gauge wire. It's 26. It's my 22. I cannot be out of 22 gauge wire for that. Nope, not yet. All right, close enough. I'm gonna snip off a couple of lengths to make some ear wires with. Or, no, I'm gonna do the ear wires with. So I've got some flush cutters for cutting my wire. And I'm gonna cut a couple of lengths of wire. This is 22 gauge, gold colored, silver plated wire. I'm gonna just make sure that those are both cut flush on one end. We'll make those ear wires in just a minute. Now for this. All right, let's go ahead and pull off the rest of this, and we'll just use it as it comes. And I've got some round nose pliers. Where are my round nose pliers? They're right here. Got some round nose pliers, some chain nose pliers. And for the ear wires, I'm also going to need my 6-step bail making pliers. So I will grab those so that they are ready to go. All right. Now let's do some wrapped loop links. I'm just straightening out the end of this real quick. And I'm going to use my round nose pliers, and about 1.5 inches down from the top, I'm going to use the pliers to bend the wire away from me like that. And then while I still have it, about 1/3 of the way down from the end of the barrel, from the pointy end, I'm going to be holding that, and I'm just going to push this wire around the top. Then I open the pliers, rotate them around, and bring that wire all the way around like that. Let's go ahead and make that wrapped loop right there by pushing the wire around the neck of that. And then I can use my flush cutters to snip off the excess wire. And I know I've got a really long wire here, but I'm going to be cutting it. I'm going to pop one of these 8/0s, a barrel, and an 8/0 on here. And then I'm going to make another loop, and I think this loop I'm going to have be perpendicular to the one that I've got. So if I can see the circle here on the bottom, and I'm holding the wire in my chain nose pliers while I can still see the circle, and I push it away from me. That means that when I put my round nose pliers on here, the same spot, and push it up and over, and then rotate it so it comes around, that means that that loop will be perpendicular to this. So now I'm going to take my Seester. I'm going to put that on that loop that I just made. I may have to swing it out a little bit to open it up to make it easier. Just creating that space between each side. There. Okay. So now that that's there, I'm going to get this little pinch to close up that loop. Probably just start wrapping. Oh, come on, gravity. I'm trying to hold it upside down so that the beads stay down there. There we go. I want to end with the wire behind me. Okay. Tuck that in. So that is one section, and I'm going to make another little link using these guys. Let's straighten this out first. Bring that around. And this is the top of the earring. So let me start from the top and add these beads on in the order that I want them to go. 8/0 tube, 8/0 amazonite, and then the 8/0. Actually, I think I want to use the amazonite in something else instead. Just going to make a little link like that. 2 links. And for this one, I'm going to also have my loops be perpendicular. So I'm going to hold that and bend it back. Make another little loop. And with this one, I'm going to go ahead and attach this bit before I wrap it. Hold on to my loop. And then I can wrap the wire around. Let's just double check to see which side or end was going to be towards the back. Looks like that's the one. And then I can add an ear wire to this top of it. We can have some very dangly earrings. All right, let me do the same thing with this bit here. Just doing my first wrapped loop first. This loop is going to be the one that I attach to the Seester. Or starfish. But yeah, this color combination, that is very Jenny. It is very Jenny. This is perfect, perfect, perfect. And I'm kind of glad I'm leaving off the amazonite because I don't know if I would have had enough wire to do the amazonite too. right. Let's do a loop. All right, now I don't have a lot of wire here for leverage, so I'm going to be using my pliers to wrap this. I'm just going to keep going. Snip off that jagged bit. There we go. I need to put in an order and get more wire, I think. All right, 1, 2, 3. I use 22 gauge a lot because I make my own ear wires, but also it is a very versatile size of beading wire to use and to have. Now let's make some ear wires real quick. I had these 2 lengths. They're about 2 inches right here on the end. I'm just going to take the very end of it with my round nose pliers and make a loop, but I'm not going to center that loop. I want it to continue pointing in a direction. And we'll do the same thing with this end. And this loop is what I'll be attaching things to. Now let me grab my 6-step bell making pliers, and I like to use my second largest loop for this part of an ear wire. You could use the largest loop or the smaller loop if you wanted, but I find that that one kind of fits best in my ears, so that's why I like to use it. I'm going to put both of these next to each other like that, pointing in the same direction, and I want them to be pointing away from the end that I'm going to be looping around. So see how they're pointing towards that largest loop, and then push this around the barrel. It does not need to go all the way around the barrel. In fact, it's good if there's some space there. Then I'm going to hold on to the wires right next to where that loop is, but on the other side, and then just give it a little push against the wire while I'm holding on to it to make a little bend. It does not need to be a right angle bend. It can be just a shallower angle like that. And then to finish these off, you can use a wire whacker to work hard in this, or a bench block and hammer, or my favorite way of doing it, and because it's easy, is just to stick it right here in my pliers and give it a good smish. Just smish it. And I get it from that angle and from this. Just all the parts where you've got the bend. That just helps it so that it will not come apart on you. So it can take a little bit of jostling. There you go. I'm just going to close that loop a little bit better. Okay. And then the last part, and this is the part that is really important, is that the end, even though you've cut it flush, it may be a little bit rough. It may have some kind of sharper edges to it for that. So you just take a little metal file or a burr grinder or a burr cup and just smooth out the end of that ear wire. Once that's smooth, it means it will not scrape the insides of your ears when you're putting your earrings on. There we go. And you can just touch it with your finger to see if it's smooth or not. All right, I am almost finished. Now I can swing open that little loop that I made at first. Add my earring, and these are going to be very dangly and pretty. There we go. This is fun. There we go, because I joke with my sister, who also makes videos for my channel now. We call each other Seester, or Seester, and so saying the word Seester out loud made me think of her. And now we have some Seester earrings for her, from the Shoreline Stroll Sam's Bead Box. This is such a great bead box. Super happy with it, and I can't wait to make more things with it. So look forward to that on my channel. All right, until next time, my friends, happy beading.